Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Dreams Through Knowledge podcast, where we believe that with the right mindset and a little bit of inspiration, you could overcome any challenge and achieve your goals. Each week, we bring you interviews with successful individuals who conquered something extraordinary, faced their own struggles, and came out on top. We cover a wide range of perspectives and experiences, and our goal is to provide you with the tools and guidance you need to overcome anything. Now, my name is Danny, and my co-host today is Vegan Mayo. What's going on, Vegan Mayo? How you doing?
What's up, family? Blessed to be here, ready for episode 2. How you feeling?
Man, I am blessed. I am grateful, and we have a special guest today. Are you excited?
An extraordinarily special guest, one of the absolute OGs, one of the few that were there from the absolute get-go. And man, we wouldn't be here without him, right?
That's facts. And the special guest today is Trugains. What's going on,
Oh, what's
Trugains?
up, you guys?
The one, the only man. And I just want to say real quick before we get started in the podcast, man, I don't think I tell you this enough, but I am truly grateful and thankful for everything you've done with DTK. I tell this to Fatty all the time. I don't think we would be here without you being in the picture and everything you've done from when we first started through day trade killers to where we are now. I am grateful for you and thank you so much for always continuing to put in the work and putting in your perspective and just being a part of the OGs. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I can speak for both of us.
You
I
do speak
truly
for
am.
both of us.
I truly am thankful and grateful for you, man.
No,
You don't
thank you
even
guys
know.
for having me. Thank you guys for having me.
No worries.
Absolutely. We're both on the same page there, bro. Just nothing but blessings, bro. Just having you here with us to this day is an absolute blessing, dude. So let's absolutely get this and jump right in.
Now, I don't know if the people out there know who really True Gains is and how you got started with DTK and how you got started with the IG and everything like that. So, if you want to do a little bit of intro with True Gains, I mean, I think the world wants to know and needs to know who you are.
So a little bit about myself. A lot of people know me as True Gains. I after high school, I went to college, got my BSN, and now what I do for work is I'm a nurse. I work in the ICU, and I'm actively getting heart trained right now. Super excited about that. I'm about halfway done with being heart trained, but once I finish, I'm going to be able to work with just one patient, 1-to-1 for 12 hours, and it's super cool because it's a post open heart patient, so you get to coach them through everything, give the reversal agents. And then what I also do is I'm a DTK investor. And what we do there for the people watching is we work with different members by networking. What we do is stocks, real estate, and Amazon business, like you, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
And we also provide the research and hypothesis for different stocks so people can make their own choices on investing.
Man, that is an extraordinary amount of things that you do, right? I mean, for most people, I feel like it's kind of difficult for people to feel like they want to jump in and do more, right? And that's I think what we're all about here is reminding people to dare to dream for more, right? We have to do more. So for you, I mean, being in the ICU, being a nurse, having a BSN, I mean, that's a big deal. You're doing really crazy things, and I know people that are LEOs or in the medical industry, and almost everyone that I know that's involved in any of these things is working not full time but overtime most times. So, how did you get started? How did you get started trading? I mean, how did you find the time to get in? How did everything play out for you? Because you were in the game for quite a while before I jumped into it, right?
Yeah. So I started during the pandemic. So I was still in college, and that's when the lockdown started happening. And I just had to stay home. Even clinicals were at home through telehealth. So that gave me the ability to just get some courses and learn how to invest. And that's pretty much what drove me because I've always heard about people investing, such as like Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary and some other YouTube people. My dad, for example, I see his 401k, and over the years, he's been investing. So that's what really got me into it. So I decided to get some courses, and it all started from there.
I mean, you said that so casually. You got started
Yeah.
during the pandemic. I mean, we got to rewind real quick and talk about that because I mean, people were running away from the market during the pandemic. I remember I wasn't involved in stocks at the time, but I even went to the bank to pull all my cash out and put it in a safe. So, getting started during the pandemic is a statement that carries a lot of weight. I mean, how in the world did you even find it in yourself to take as big of a risk as getting involved in a market that's essentially melting down? I mean, that falling knife was falling faster than anything we've seen in so long. It's quite a bit. I mean, what drove you into it at that time?
So I during that time I decided to get into the market. So I started following some stocks, like companies. I was following Dave and Buster's, all the companies that I would go to, like Starbucks, Target, Walmart, and I was following their price action. And luckily, that's when COVID happened. And Dave and Buster's, that's the one that I first invested into.
Mm-hmm.
It went from $40 pre-pandemic, and then once they announced the lockdowns, it dropped to $4 within that week. So, but that was what after I finished the courses. The courses did help a lot because it gives you a solid foundation on market trends, how to read market data. And I think that was really important for the start of the journey. So once I saw that David Mustard was $4, I was able to understand their earnings and their margins and a bunch of other factors. I was like, okay, I don't think Dave and Buster's is going to go bankrupt. So I had some money saved up because I thought I was going to go to a private university, but luckily I got into a public university. So then I decided to put about $20,000 into Dave and Buster's.
Mm.
It started from
Let's
there.
go.
Now let me ask you something. Are you a fan of Dave and Buster's yourself, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Dave and Buster's.
Let's go.
You'll always have a good time there. So I was like, there's no way
Dude,
this company is going to go bankrupt.
I always tell people out there if they need like a first date, I think David Buster's is the perfect first date. You get a good, especially if like there's a fight night on or a good game, you could go out there, get a good dinner, have some good food, and then just play some games as a grown up. Perfect date night. But I can't believe you actually put 20K into Dave and Buster's. For people who don't really know, I mean, was that considered like a meme stock or like the squeeze type of stock that was going in? What was the risk factor that was going in your head at that time? Because I know eventually that 20K turned you into 130K, right?
Yeah. So what was going on in my head was I I was watching all these news about COVID, and at the time, I didn't know it was as serious as it ended up being. But they said a lockdown, and I thought to myself, I don't think this lockdown is going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
So it being $4, that's what drove me into putting in the money. And I believe 2 days after it opened at 12.50, so that was 3x.
Yeah.
Let's
When
go.
that's when I quickly learned the power of the market.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it out, and then I started buying other travel companies. But I quickly learned also that as fast as it goes up, it could go down. And then after that, I started making YouTube videos. So the reason why I started making YouTube videos was because I remember Fatty said this once, and he said that the stock market is America's biggest secret because everyone knows about it, but they don't teach you enough to actually do something with it.
Yeah,
So I started making
absolutely.
YouTube videos, and I wanted to just spread the word with all the people I knew, especially.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I do say that all the time. The market is essentially a tool, a vehicle that's used to transfer wealth, right? And with the right education and information, you can make an absolute fortune. And we've seen ourselves and some of our members make absolutely life-changing gains in the last couple of years, and if you will, excuse me, but I mean, true gains were made while we were in this game, right? And going back to like the get-go, Joel, true gains, we ended up meeting because of DTK, because of the IG group chat that we had. And I want to say it to the world when I got in, and I've always been a hard worker. I've always been into business. I've built several successful businesses, and everything's good and everything's kosher. But when I came in and I saw what you had and I met you in person, I was just absolutely blown away because I was like, man, how does this guy have, you know, over $100,000 in his brokerage account. This is money that is just sitting essentially invested in an account. That means that's money that you don't need for other things, right? You had free money that you're able to put away. And that was, and honestly, I think you were my first like true point of inspiration that helped me kind of say, okay, hold on a second. There must be more to this. If this guy has that, why don't I? And what do I need to do to get it, bro? So seeing you there as the first real world example of someone in my circle, someone that was young and educated, was absolutely beautiful to see, bro. So you were definitely a huge inspiration to me, and I think that's kind of what unlocked the part of my mind that said, "Hey, we need to break the market and figure out this system." So here we are.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Greg.
All
Yeah,
day.
honestly, man, I always tell people, and I kind of want to go into the style of trading you do too, because I know that you are successful with kind of learning the market and taking that risk. And you kind of remind me of that meme of that guy. He's like thinking, right? He's like, well, you're calling the bluff. You don't think COVID's gonna last. You know that, and this was part of another OG. Shout out Ant Man. Kind of the same thing with AMC, right? You
Oh,
know
yeah.
the market, you know the market's not gonna or you're calling a bluff on the COVID, right? And you're like, all right, well, if it's this slow, I'm gonna get in. So that's one type of trading that you do. But like, explain the difference between the style that you're trading and then like option trading, because a lot of what we do is option trading, but you're kind of going against that grain, and you're seeing a different type of trading when it comes to you, right?
Yeah, so my type of trading is with shares. So I like to buy a lot of shares for a specific company. But the reason why I like doing shares is because, let's say it didn't plan out, you could always average down, or you could just cut it. But you're not losing a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
because in options you could lose 80% in one day. In shares you can too, but for a stock to move even 10%, it's not ordinary.
Yeah, I always tell the members in there, you got to have that emotional state, right? When it comes to option trading, you're like, it's too many emotional people out there that just, if you can't take the volatility, what do I say? If you're scared, go to church.
Yeah,
You
if
know
you're
what I mean?
scared, go to church.
You're scared, go to church. But doing this during the pandemic, once again, I want to highlight that because a lot of people, and I know you know this, but a lot of people, they get afraid when the stock starts going down, right? And you and I, we look at that like a flash sale, right? When the stock's going down, we want to buy more and more and more because we know those are the opportunities to get in. And then when the stock is going back up, then we sell. And so a lot of people get that fear in them when the stock's going down. It's like, oh my God, everything must be going wrong. What's going on? Like, what, the market's going down, I'm losing money. But in reality, it's okay, no, this is the opportunity that we've been waiting for. Market goes down. You took that opportunity during the pandemic and you ran with it. And that risk is something that a lot of people wouldn't take in their lifetime, especially with $20,000 during a pandemic when you don't know what the hell is going on, right?
Yeah, I think it plays a lot on, you have to have conviction in that company. For example, like Walmart, it's not going to go bankrupt, at least in my eyes, just from
Mm-hmm.
everything I read and stuff. So I think someone just needs to really believe in that company in order to invest. And that's what the courses showed me. It showed me a lot about risk, how to read markets. And the last one was on like options on how to short, how to read all the Greeks and stuff. That's really important. I know you guys know how to read them. You guys are actually the ones that showed me.
Yeah, yeah. Man, and I think that's why Fatty was saying earlier, how do you have the time to do it? Because one, we know how busy you are, and I don't know if this is like a trend or something, vegan, but I see a lot of successful traders that come from nurses. We got Day Day,
Yeah.
shout out Day Day. We got Daddy Nuno, Father Nuno in there. So shout out to them. But it's like, I don't know, maybe it's the pressure that they're already getting from nursing school or just being in the books or something like that. Like, how do you stay up to date with everything? And how do you continue to do that side of your life, plus your personal life, plus investing? I mean, what kind of superhuman juice are you taking and how much are you buying it for? And is it for sale right now?
Nah, so I feel like okay, maybe nursing nursing does teach you time management. It
Mhm.
really does. You have to, just pack your schedule. So I just apply that to my regular life, and it's been working out. So
That's good. That's good. And so time management is one of the biggest things for you.
time,
And I think what you told me the other time that we were talking was literally the value of time and how much you set apart your time management skills a little differently. You remember you were telling me that?
yeah. So pretty much how I do it is, let's say you have 24 ounces of water, which
Hmm.
is equal to 24 hours in one day. So you have to spread those 24 ounces in X amount of cups. There's no way you could create more time, more water.
Mm.
So you have to put 8 hours of 8 ounces of water away for sleep. So now you have X amount left. So you really have to think about it and say, okay, how am I going to split up all this water into these cups? Is there unnecessary cups? Is there, all these cups, which cups need more water? And then once you figure that out, you'll be on the good track.
Yeah, time management is definitely a very very important and very beneficial skill to have, and it's something that is learned, no doubt. So if it's something that you're learning from your background in the medical industry, that's absolutely amazing. Now we kind of aim to do like a few things here at DTK with our community, and you've been there since the absolute get-go. You were there since this was a discussion before we actually even manifested it. But for everybody else that hasn't been there, what do you think some of the most important, most valuable things in being in a group like this, right? Because time management is one thing, but there's other benefits that's singular. What are the benefits that you have experienced being on this journey with us, being a part of this community, as it relates to investing and beyond?
So I think it's important to be in a community like DTK because, so three things from the top of my head is networking. It really shows you how to connect and talk to other people. I remember when I first started with DTK, I would always wake up around 6 a.m. to look at the market. And once I joined a community with you guys, I would see people wake at 5:45, 5 a.m. already posting market news, their hypothesis. It was exciting because I was like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is like my group of people. So that's one, networking. The other one is seeing other people work under pressure. I think that's important. Pressure could be like a positive thing or a negative thing. Sometimes you're put in a situation, but you just don't know how to execute. So seeing other people execute and how they get out of maybe a bad trade or even a good trade, I think that's important. And then the last one is the energy. So I think it's super cool being in DTK because everyone's always supporting you in or giving you constructive criticism in a good way. If
Hmm.
I post a hypothesis and a lot of people are like, I don't think that's a good idea, the cool thing is that they speak up and they let you know. They're not going to
That
just let you go.
that's absolutely beautiful, and I think I'd mirror everything you said there. There's just so much to being around a group of people that are on the same page in the same chapter in life as you, and having that support system. And I think that's something that we got to talk about more often too, for all the boys that are out there, all the men and the females too, not excluding anybody. But I think being on a page where we're kind of building and establishing a support system where we can talk to each other and discuss what we're dealing with in life, in business, in investing, and everything in between is very, very open. So I think I'm going to take it upon myself to kind of, spearhead that charge there and just, get everything together and be able to talk about these things. We got to be there for each other, and it's huge.
I have one more thing to say. I think it's also important because it shows you the way that people think and it allows you to see things that you can't see maybe at the time. So, for example, I remember
Mm.
when we first started DTK and we were all trading, especially on Instagram, we all saw this trend with the pandemic. It was like when the lockdowns happened, travel and entertainment would go down, but then tech
Yeah.
would go up. Chag, Zoom, Microsoft, Facebook. And then we all saw that trend, and it was nice because we were all profiting. then the lockdowns would say, oh, they're going to reopen. Tech would go down, and then airlines and entertainment would go up. And then we saw that trend. So
Yeah.
it was nice being part of the group.
There's power in numbers for sure, with everybody kind of sharing their own research and staying on top of it. It's like we can accomplish so much individually. We can accomplish anything, but dude, when we come together, nothing can stand in our way. And I think that's the most important thing. And that kind of really, that resonated with me so much right now, dude. Like, absolutely love to hear that.
That, and I always tell people too, it's like I wish I had this type of community when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, because we understand how important it is, but like get I don't really don't think people grasp how important it is to forget trading, right? Trading is one thing, it's fun. It can make you a lot of money, cool. But like investing in the long term, building your empire for the long term, investing at a young age, especially, and like instead of going out and spending a bunch of money on pointless stuff that you don't need, and actually spending money on your future and paying your future self, I think that's so important, especially coming from a community, and especially seeing that. And I'm thankful that we have a platform that we could utilize and push this out to younger people as well. But I mean, you and I talk about this all the time, how important it is for the long term, right? And how important it is for you, especially to invest in the long term, because you're not only investing in stocks, but you want to do real estate. I see you hungry in that real estate world right now. I see you, and unfortunately, we live in California, so it might be another state or something like that. But talk to me about how important it is for the long term for you, because I know your vision for the long term is just like ours, and you don't plan it in short term goals. You plan for the long term, and I admire that for you too.
So I think it's important to invest long term because it's going to set you up for success in the future, especially if there's obstacles that you have to overcome, unfortunately, or even if you just want to have a solid amount of money, maybe for your kids in the future, or to buy a house. In my shoes, I want to have multiple real estate houses one day in the future. So allowing me to invest now, especially when the market is down, maybe in 3 to 5 years, I'll be able to 3 to 4x my money that I have in there, the equity and the capital. So I'll be able to pull it out, buy some real estate, and just keep investing, especially for retirement.
I feel you, man. So what's some of your long-term goals, you think, as far as real estate? You said real estate's one, right?
Real estate. So
Real
long term
estate.
goal for real estate. So hopefully by the end of this year, or maybe at the beginning of next year, I want to buy a house, depending on the numbers and how the interest rates continue to either go up or down. And another long-term goal I want to do is I want to become a CRNA. What a CRNA is a nurse anesthesiologist.
Ooh, okay. So you're gonna be, when people get put down, you're gonna be the nurse right there that's helping them out, right?
Yeah, so I have to continue my education for 3 more years, and then I would graduate after that, and I would become a certified nurse anesthesiologist. It's pretty cool because what they do is, so when a person has to get surgery, a C-section or open heart surgery,
Yeah,
they have an issue that the surgeon has to fix.
yeah.
So the surgeon is focused on fixing the issue. The anesthesiologist is in the back, making sure the patient goes in there safe, gets put down to sleep, is stable. If any complications occur, they have to somehow troubleshoot it and make sure the patient comes back out, wakes up, and they could continue their life. It's kind of like a guardian angel, and
I was just about to say that.
why I want to pursue it. I'm really passionate about it, and I just love anesthesia and the way the medication works because it's able to put you to sleep. You don't feel anything. You're paralyzed, and then you come back to life pretty much.
Man, so you got the brains, you got the beauty, you got the money, you invested in it. What don't you have? What don't you have? Is there anything you can't do, man?
I'm
And
drawing a
I
blank
feel like
too.
if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish everything. Yeah.
No, man, that is true. And like I said, you've been a real impact on DTK in general, and especially in my life. You like Fatty said, inspire me too with everything that you do and continue to do and strive for, man. I think that I don't have enough time in the day, but when I see you and your schedule, I'm like, man, I got a lot of time. I need to get back to it, you know? So, one, thank you for inspiring me and inspiring all the others in our group and all the OGs and a bunch of people that are going to be listening to this podcast. So, guys, if you're being lazy right now, you got some time. Just look at Joel's schedule and then come talk to us, okay? And two, man, I want to we want to do we're doing like a little outro questionnaire, and we're doing this with the interviewees. So one of the first questions, 1 out of 2, is what do you think your biggest obstacle you've overcome in your life? What's the biggest obstacle you've overcome in your life?
The biggest obstacle I've overcame is managing my time. I would say
Mm,
that's the biggest one, really. It was difficult because there were so many things, so many people I wanted to please
mm,
and, you know,
mm.
fill up that cup of water. But you quickly learn that you just have to put yourself first in your priorities, because you have to take care of yourself and your success and whatever you're trying to achieve. And I think that was the biggest obstacle, but I've learned how to overcome it with, you know, just packing your schedule and making sure that you write everything down and you do everything right.
You know, that really spoke to my heart too. I think a lot of us feel like a lot of us do things that we may not feel called to do, right? And we try to split up ourselves and make sure that we're taking care of absolutely everybody around us, because we're those kind of people that want to take care of everybody around us, our family, our friends. Like, those are the kind of people that we surround ourselves with, people that will go out of their way to make sure that everybody else is good. But one thing that's very important that you just said right now is, when we take care of ourselves first and foremost, and we put ourselves as the main priority, we are going to allow ourselves to then take care of everybody in our circle tenfold what we could do when we're taking that single cup of water and splitting it all apart. Because when we take care of ourselves first, we've got 5 gallons being delivered to our doors by Sparklets right now, and we don't run out of it, right? Take care of ourselves first, and we can put that back out to everybody. That's absolutely beautiful. I think time management is a huge thing, and I think maybe that's something I need to work on myself as well, because it's a big deal. Anyways, all right, question number 2, and this one's a really really important question, and we're gonna try to kind of keep it a little bit different every time, but it's always going to be something that's going to be impactful, right? And this is one thing that you're going to share with the audience and everybody that's listening. And if you had just one piece of advice that you could give based on all of your experience, because we all come from very unique perspectives in lives, very unique and very different experiences that define us and therefore define our perception of reality. If you could give one piece of advice, let's focus on people that are starting off today. To the people that are starting off, what would you tell them?
So one piece of advice I would give is pack your schedule. So what I mean by that is write down your goals and then break down each of your goals into projects. And now you're going to break down each project into an equation. And what do you have to do in order to achieve this project or goal? And if it doesn't make mathematically sense, then it's probably not possible. So you want to make sure you go down, not general, but into details. How can I buy a house, for example, by the
Mm,
end of, December? I need to have 3% to 5%, get the 3 to 5% on the total home equity. And how am I going to be able to achieve this money within the next 11 months?
mm.
If you need to save up $3,000 a month, then what do I got to do in order to make $3,000 a month? And then you start hustling and you pack your schedule. It just goes back to packing your schedule, and you're going to achieve whatever your goal and put your mind into.
That's absolutely beautiful. You're taking the goal, you're reverse engineering it, you're breaking it down to smaller bite-sized goals, setting a schedule and packing the schedule to make sure that you deliver on time. Absolutely love it.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful,
and
man.
if it doesn't make mathematically sense, let's say you need $7,000 a month maybe, and you not able to provide that, then you got to change up the equation or the result, and then you'll figure it out though. Just
Then you look at selling your toes on OnlyFans, right?
Or joining the Discord, guys. Come on, man.
No, but in all
Love it.
honesty, man, in all honesty, I love that. And I preach that every day, because it's one thing to want something, right? We all want $1 million. We all want to lose weight, or we all want to be healthier, or everything like that. But it's the fact, the game plan that you're going to set aside to do that goal, right? How are we going to make $1 million? How are we going to be healthier? How are we going to, everything you're saying is up to point, and it just makes sense. And thank you again for inspiring all of us, inspiring me, inspiring Fatty, inspiring all the OG members in here. DTK wouldn't be anything without you, man. And I appreciate you so much, man. You don't even know
I
it.
appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for having me today.
Thank
Let's
you,
get
brother.
it. Wouldn't have it any other way. Our first guest, brother.
With that being said, Trugains, go follow him on Instagram. His Instagram is TRUGAINS. Go follow Fatty, FAD_Y. Mine is Danny, DINNYI Pena. And then we got our Instagram, DTK Dreamers. And of course, guys, go and check out our Discord. We have amazing people like Joel in here every single day that are just giving him his insights, his motivation, his inspiration. And like we said, I wish I had this when I was growing up at 19, 20, 21, but it's not too late. And that's the thing. Being a part of this type of community is something that you could take on and will impact you for the rest of your life, no matter how old you are. And I just want to make that a point with anyone out there. Just having people in your circle like this is going to be powerful and going to impact you tremendously. With that being said, guys, come check us out. We don't bite, we hang out, we have fun. And until then, Trugains, Fatty, I love you guys both. We'll see you on the next podcast. Thank you, guys.
Bam.
Peace.
Much love.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be